Hello and welcome back to the X-Men animated series Re-Examined. I'm Dan Bain, that's Hav Hakeem. We're both here.
Hey!
It's an episode of a show where we rewatch the X-Men animated series from the 1990s to see if we still like it, to see if it holds up, to see if it's worth watching for adults in 2023. So far, we're doing all right.
All these things. We have found no reason for this to be cancelled yet.
Yeah, no notes. So far, about 9 hours of content created.
No notes. Nothing. You've missed nothing. We've added nothing.
They keep rendering this experiment pointless.
Yeah. I keep wondering when I can get my daughter to watch this series and she'll understand everything and just be like, oh my god, this is just so heavy and like really cool. I don't know when that day will come. She's 5. What kind of age do you think people could jump into this, Dan?
I mean, are you talking about watching it or you're talking about appreciating it?
I'm talking about appreciating. She can watch any old shit and just go like, ooh, colours and funny characters with funny voices. It's funny, she's 5 now, like 5.5, and she's just getting to the point now where she's maybe rewatching some old movies, and I can see her brain ticking. She's asking me questions for the first time that indicate, oh, you didn't know what the fuck was going on the first time you watched this, or the first 5 times you watched this. Like, she's rewatching Toy Story, and she's like, why is Buzz freaking out? I'm like, because he's just realized he's a toy and not a space ranger. And you can see the little cogs in her head going like, oh, okay. Daddy, would you freak out if you were a toy? I was like, absolutely. And she's like, all right. So yeah, she's not ready for X-Men yet, where I can be like, darling, this is an oppressed group in society who are being, marginalized and discriminated against because of their nothing that's their own fault. You know,
sure. You know, you could let her watch, but then you're just going to have to rewatch it with her in another couple of years.
I'll do it. Nothing wrong with that.
So far, it doesn't sound so bad. We're up to episode 8. It's called The Unstoppable Juggernaut.
The Unstoppable Juggernaut. Yes, fans. Of course, if we haven't said, the way to kind of like appreciate this podcast in its fullest is to maybe watch the episode in the animated series and then watch the podcast that goes with that episode. So this is the one where, hey, if you remember from the last one, the X-Men are flying back to the X-Mansion, having just rescued Gambit, Storm, and Jubilee on Genosha. They come back and find the mansion in ruins, totally leveled. Their first worry is what happened with Professor Xavier. Is he in there? Is he all right? And in this episode, this is the one where we meet Juggernaut and Colossus. Brief synopsis: they start, wondering who the hell did this. Wolverine runs off. What a surprise! And he comes across Colossus. They all think he's probably the one that did this. Then later on, they find out it's actually Juggernaut. And Colossus kind of takes the rap. He goes to jail for this. The X-Men break him out, and at the end, there's a big standoff between the X-Men, all teaming up to take down the Juggernaut. And they find out that Professor Xavier was fine. He did leave before the mansion was leveled, and he's gone off to do some things. So we do leave on yet another cliffhanger. Stuff. Yeah. So there's still like, where is the Professor at the end of all this? One, for me, I'm a huge Colossus fan from the comics. Colossus is one of these mutants that came in the giant-size X-Men era of the comics. Basically what happened with the original team. If you think about the original X-Men, in the white and blue suits, Marvel Girl, Iceman, Beast, Cyclops, Angel, they weren't proving too popular, actually, in the 60s. So they eventually dumped that team and had them all captured, and they brought in a whole new team, which is where you first kind of see Wolverine, Colossus, Nightcrawler, Storm. And this is a very kind of diverse global team. And Colossus was one of them who, if you don't know Colossus, he's a Russian dude, and his mutant power is his skin turns into organic metal, and he becomes a big tank, essentially. Very strong, very protected. And I love the simplicity of his mutant power here. It's not some like, I manipulate energies and project them out through my nipples. It's like, no, my skin turns into metal and deal with it. That's it.
Yes. I get all the advantages of metal.
That's it.
Metal. Yeah.
In the 60s, they were scratching their heads like, what could this guy do? Like, turn into metal. Turns into metal. There was a big elemental kind of like rush at the time. Like, Iceman, what does he do? Turns into ice. Human Torch turns into flame. Oh, Colossus.
Metal, yeah. Find a thing, can a person turn into it? Love it.
Exactly. What do you think about this episode, Dan?
50-50 on this one, to be honest. Some great moments, but I found this is the first time that I've really gone, some of this animation is really bad.
Yes.
There are a couple of moments in this one where I was like, wow, we're not quite at the usual standard today.
Yeah. The Korean animation team really phoned this one in.
Oh, the guy drives the dump truck into Colossus.
Yes, which I have to say is an awesome moment in principle. It's been done in the comics as well, where he's just like a bollard. Where you see, when they do like crash tests with cars, he's the bollard, and the thing just wraps around him. He does not move an inch. It's pretty hardcore.
It's such a great moment, and it's so poorly done.
Yeah. Your imagination's going to have to do a lot of the heavy lifting in this episode. Kind of like, they'll give you the suggestion, and your brain kind of has to fill in the gaps.
Yes. I felt this one really was like, let's just imagine we're reading the comic. I'm going to do a lot of work in between every panel. Yeah.
It's a shame because this episode introduces Juggernaut and Colossus, and they're just both massive powerhouses. And what we want to see them being incredibly strong, incredibly resilient, lots of destruction. And unfortunately, it's a big Michael Bay kind of style budget feeling behind this episode with not a Michael Bay budget. No helicopters in this one, sorry, Michael.
The scale of kind of destruction that is done is all very want to see a guy walk through a wall, because you'll get a lot of that.
Oh yeah. If you're a wall, don't watch this episode.
Don't watch this episode. It may be triggering.
Exactly.
This is a trigger warning for walls.
So when the X-Men, find the mansion in ruins and they go away and they come across Colossus, when they first find him, he is working on a construction site, and all the other construction workers are pissed off because this bloody foreigners come over here and taken their jobs of destroying a building. And they're angry, and it's one of the first times you see in this cartoon, again, the parallels of mutants are just everyone hates them for no reason. But this is the first, like foreigners coming over here taking a job sort of thing. And so Colossus destroys this building for them, and their first reaction is to, let's murder him.
Yes.
Let me drive a dump truck into him.
I'm going to drive a dump truck into this guy. I know, and that really feels like it escalates very fast.
There's a little bit, so after Colossus destroys the building, Jubilee, who's been snooping around trying to find Wolverine, finds herself about to be crushed by a wall, and then say by Wolverine, who the fuck is letting this girl just wander into a demolition zone?
She's got great... Boy, that kid's sure got some moxie.
She's wearing a bright yellow trench coat. There's no way you couldn't see her. Maybe you guys who are like bitching and moaning that Colossus is taking your jobs should be taken off the job if your company can't even stop a teenage girl wandering into a building demolition zone.
Like, how many days was it last been since an accident, guys? How many days?
How was I not supposed to replace you guys? You've killed 34 civilians.
Yeah. How hard is it to honestly put up some fencing, guys? Put up some fencing.
This tape, there's loads of it. It's there for a reason. Seriously, I know. Just tape at least, a fucking sign.
This episode kind of starts. It kind of rewinds a little bit at the start.
When they're in the jet.
They're in the jet flying back, and it actually pulls back further than
the last episode.
The end of the last episode. So we start and they haven't had the revelation.
Easter egg.
Pulls back, and we get to see them. We get to see the call waiting, the like caller ID on the Blackbird panel, which is just great because it really juxtaposes against, because at the time that it comes up, the credits are still rolling underneath it, so the written by, the produced by, all that is still up in really like beautiful kind of X-Men font block letters, and they open the thing and it's like calling the mansion on the screen.
Yeah,
and it's
Cyclops put this on speed dial.
It's so handwritten. It's like It looks like, when you were a kid and you went and wrote a big poster to welcome someone back at the airport.
And you start off with big letters, and then you all the last ones are scrunched up.
Slowly start shrinking as you go through.
Like the word is crashing into the side of the page or the poster.
Yeah.
And once again, Cyclops foiled by phones.
Yeah. And Wolverine is in the thing, and he's picking his teeth with one of his claws.
I mean, why not? I mean, he's very comfortable with them, clearly.
Guaranteed to scrape the enamel off your teeth.
Yes. I mean, these things are supposed to be adamantium sharp. Surely picking your teeth means literally cutting your teeth on these things. Oh, hold on. He's got an adamantium skeleton. Does that extend to his teeth?
Oh, are they in his teeth?
I don't know. I mean, your teeth have already kind of grown through once you... I don't know. Is it adamantium scraping against adamantium? In which case, Wolverine should never have a toothache and he can bite through anything.
And the other question, does Wolverine's healing factor also apply to tooth decay?
Maybe. I've never seen him at the dentist.
I know, me either. Does he actually have really beautiful pearly whites?
Maybe he does.
Did you catch this? Where they arrive back at the mansion, and the jet kind of flies in, and Cyclops and Jubilee go to park it, I guess.
Yeah.
But as it comes in, the hatch opens, and everyone who can fly kind of flies out.
Right.
And I guess Wolverine jumps out because
he's got a healing factor.
Yeah, whatever. Who needs shins? Storm comes out and is wearing a different outfit, and then in a couple of minutes she activates her powers. Yeah. And as she activates her powers, her outfit changes.
Kind of like in the first episode.
Yeah, is that is that?
I think that's just down to 90s. I think that might be the producers screaming over them. And when she does that, she changes into her costume to sell more toys. Yeah, I mean, it's inconsistent. There's no reasoning why that should happen. I think it's one of those. In the 90s, this happens.
Yeah. They do hand wave a little bit, things that kind of nowadays that it's like the detail is the fun bit.
Yeah.
There certainly was a tendency to be but whatever.
Other mutants, other X-Men have used their powers when they're wearing civilian clothing, and this hasn't happened. Who's to say that Storm isn't in her spare time, sewing together some mad quick change outfits?
Yeah, exactly.
Storm, why don't you come on down to dinner with us?
And just it's are you sewing up there?
Hush, child. What I do with my time is none of your concern. For I, Storm, mistress of the elements and sewing machine, have much to do.
So that's kind of a nitpick at costume change. But I actually loved that this episode had so much people in different outfits.
Yeah, it's cool, huh? It helps us humanize the X-Men.
Yeah, exactly. When Rogue and Storm and Jubilee, so Wolverine storms off.
Yeah.
Once again, I'm going to solve this mystery myself.
I'm going to go solo until I need the team again. And
the three of them kind of jump in the Barbie dream car. And
yes.
And
to the Barbie mobile.
Yeah, it's real fun. Just different outfits.
Dude, if you pulled up in that car and said, "Get in, loser, we're going somewhere," I'd jump in straight away. I'd leave my child on the side of the road.
Yeah, see you later. Sorry, girls, you have to catch your bus home. Daddy's going in the dream car with
you know how long Daddy's been waiting for this.
The exploding ladies.
When Wolverine attacks Colossus for the first time, he jumps. By the way, notice in this episode, Wolverine's attack is not... Wolverine is not good at attacking people in this episode. His main attack seems to be involuntary shoulder ride. He just jumps on people's shoulders. And he does it
4 times.
He does it 4 times. And every time it just doesn't work.
It never works.
You're supposed to be a special ops dude. Come on, your claws. maybe involuntary shoulder ride isn't what you need to do. Anyway, he jumps on Colossus, and Colossus just throws him off. And he throws into a pile of rubble. And Wolverine, when he stands up, he goes, "Guy's got a good arm." That is a little nod to, in the comics, Colossus and Wolverine have a little move that they do in battle a lot, which is called the fastball special. And all it is Colossus just picks up Wolverine and throws him.
Right.
That's it.
Nice.
And I love the simplicity of, like, that's a move in the 80s. You know? Like, all this other amazing teamwork is just throw me. Do it.
I can imagine. I mean, I didn't know that, and I can imagine that that's a fun little, if this is the first time that they meet, and then Colossus throws him. Yeah. There's and Wolverine acknowledges that. There's that germ of, like, here's the idea. Here's the idea forming already. Like, these are the seeds that will grow into a flourishing and beautiful plant of throwing each other in battle.
Exactly. I mean, they stole it in Lord of the Rings, where Gimli asks Legolas to throw him. Or toss him. Yes. Toss. It's a funny word.
It is.
Grow up, everyone.
It's like there's more than one possible meaning for it. Teehee. So then... So Colossus eventually ends up in jail, right?
That's right. So they find a bank robbery. They report a bank robbery where Colossus has apparently been to this bank and confronted the Juggernaut. It's a Juggernaut who's robbed the bank, but Colossus takes the rap and he's put in jail.
He's like, I was just in there trying to open an account.
Yes, let me just back up here. The personification of Colossus is so simple, it's criminal in this. And that's another reason why I'm 50-50 about this episode. Colossus in the comics, he's a compassionate, protective, intelligent figure. But in the 90s, they've really, the Soviet Union's about to crumble. And I guess maybe in North America, they've been a little bit, the Cold War, we won. You stupid Ruskies. And he is portrayed as simple Russian who does not know. I have heart of gold, but do not comprehend. And like, he's not 7.
For an episode that kind of introduces, as you say, these kind of two, really big characters. Yeah. It suffers from poor art direction and some really there's some lazy writing in this one.
Oh, Colossus's lines never got past the first draft. They were like, and then Colossus says something like this, and they went, "Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's good. That sounds good to me."
I mean, I feel like as soon as they cast someone who could do the accent, they're like, "Great, just write the lines. The character does itself now."
Oh, mate, that's the voice actress that does Jubilee, just going, "I think I can do this. What do you think?"
Yeah. Well, you like?
Yeah. Oh, we're gonna save a shitload of money here. Let's do it. Yeah.
Is there a lot of doubling of the voice actors? Do people multi-role in this? I
not
assume some
so
of them do.
much. Like, there's a little bit of it going on, but not so much. Interesting thing about the voice acting on this is they actually outsourced most of the voice acting out to Canada, because in the US with American actors, because of the guild rules there, they would have to be paid royalties on, subsequent. Basically, it was more expensive to use American actors, whereas in Canada, it was kind of like a one fee, one and done, pay you to do this. And
gotcha.
So most of the voice actors are Canadian. There was a bit of an uproar with Storm. Storm's voice changed a number of times, because at first she was voiced by a white lady, and people were like, even back then were like, "Oh, I don't know if people find out that she's been voiced by a white lady. She's like the only black X-Man. Let's get a proper, person of color to do this." And they did, but then they were like, "Oh no, she's American, we're going to pay her." And then they had to find a Canadian actress. So if you are wondering why Storm voice is changing all the time, it's because they were trying to save shitloads of money and went through 3 different actresses to voice her. Did you like when Colossus is in jail and they go bust him out of there? Beast is in jail. He's in there. Beast.
That was awesome. That was maybe my favorite bit of the episode. I didn't see it coming. Yeah. I'd kind of forgotten about Beast was gone from kind of my
Yeah,
consciousness,
he was off your
and
radar, and there he is again.
He's off the radar, and there he is again.
I tried
Great.
to. He's reading a book as per what Beast does in jail. I couldn't quite catch the title of the book. I tried to look at it. It was like civil, I think, disobedience, or
It is. It's Civil Disobedience by Henry Thoreau.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that a real book?
It is real. Well, it was a really famous essay by Henry Thoreau, which is about the morality of the person versus the legislature of the state, and where does it sit for a person to kind of morally place themselves? Do they obey the laws of the state? Do they obey their own internal morals?
Hey kids, it's Saturday morning. Stop shoving Lucky Charms into your shit-eating faces. We're talking about the real issues here. Yeah. Before Mum and Dad wake up, do you think the morality of the individual outweighs the
tyranny
direction of the state? Answer me, Timmy.
Yeah,
Then you can go back to your fucking cornflakes.
But before that, here's a word from our sponsor, 19th century abolitionist, Henry Thoreau.
Well, well done on reading the title. I tried to read the title, but it was upside down, and again, suffering from the same handwritten, shoddy quality as the X-Jet Blackbird display.
I was able to play a bit of a literary wheel of fortune with that one, because for a lot of it, his fingers are covering the title as well.
Yeah.
But I wanted to kind of dig back through it, because I was like, come on, Beast, like, don't let me down. Like,
Yeah.
What do you got for me?
Dan is Beast's
What do you got for me?
biggest fan of, like, what are his literary choices? What is he choosing to read and quote from?
This is a good one.
Again, what a strong play to include Beast as a core member of the team. He's in he's in the animation intro animation every week, and people go, "Oh yeah, Beast is part of the team, but he's in jail." It's nice to have a nice little he's still here. I did find it interesting that Rogue and Storm are surprised to see him in there. Like, don't you know which jail your teammate has been held in? And some of them do, because at the end he goes, "Oh, and tell Jean, thanks for the cookies." So someone knows where he is.
For Storm and Rogue, they're a bit like, this is a bit... He's like, next time, come back in visiting hours.
Yeah.
Which kind of suggests
I thought we were
they
friends.
never visited.
Yeah, exactly. They've never visited. Like... Maybe. What do you think Jean's running on these cookies? Like, sorry, you're still in jail. We all. This is from Jean, Rogue, Storm. The card from Jean said it was from all of you. Did you forget I was in here?
Yeah, I feel like Jean Grey is very much the mum of the family who's like going to a kid's birthday party and is like, "This is from all of us."
Yeah, yeah. It's fine. I just signed it from all of us. It's fine.
Yeah.
So Juggernaut in this, one other point, Juggernaut robs 2 banks in this episode, which means he's greedy. He's out on a spree. What I did find interesting is when he robs the second bank and they catch up with him, the police are waiting outside with a tank.
Oh, I know. Yeah. You were going to say this? Yeah. It's extraordinary. And like straight to it as well. It's not like there's a like... after the first one, there's not like a kind of like, we're never going to be able to handle this guy, call in the military. It's like it's just the police's tank.
Yeah. Any tanks in the area, please respond to a robbery going on.
Yeah.
This is tank 16, we're on it.
Yeah, it's an undercover tank. Like the siren comes out.
Oh, it's an undercover tank, look at that.
I was like, I thought that was just a tank, but no, it's a police tank.
Yeah. So there you go. If you ever thought that the police was receiving too much funding in the US, this is absolute proof of that.
Oh, this is where it started. Clearly, just that pipeline of military offcasts going straight to policing.
Yeah. How many other like common inner city crimes has this tank been like showing up to?
Yeah.
I heard there was a hit and run. I've got the tank.
Yeah. So the question that it raises, though, is like there's basically one of two options. One, it's cool to have a tank to shoot Juggernaut to show how powerful he is, and it's just they just wanted that, right? And it's a decision based on rule of cool. Other option it's a deliberate choice on militarization of and overspecking of police, both of which are kind of valid takes. Like, I wouldn't pick there to be like a comment on the arming of the police in many, Saturday morning cartoons, but I could kind of pick it in this.
Tanks being used here. Would you say that this is something that maybe could be covered in the essay, civil disobedience?
Maybe this overextent of the reach and power of the state to suppress the individual.
That's right. Does the punishment fit the crime, children?
Does the punishment fit the crime?
Put down that toast. Let's think for a second. That bank is insured. This gentleman is just stealing some cash. Does it warrant a tank? And also a shell to the face.
There's very distinctly a shot kind of chasing like a sniper bullet time kind of follow the shell in shot.
Which is ambitious because we know clearly from the rest of this episode they don't have the budget for that kind of shot.
No. But they went for it anyway. So we have all this thing, and Juggernaut just juggernauts away, and clearly kind of
he's a massive
showcases
juggernaut.
He's massive. Yeah, he really lives his name by kind of running over police cars, and when he fights the X-Men, he throws stuff everywhere. But I found him quite puzzling, to be honest. He was real quippy. He's like, I always like to crush my cans. And I hope
sticks
that's
and stones
recyclable.
will never hurt me. Sticks and stones will break my bones, but tanks will never hurt me.
Yeah. And then he throws it, and he's like, "Thank you."
Yeah, I mean, I found him the most like Power Rangers one-dimensional villain so far. He's no Magneto.
So I'm sure you'll be able to clarify this with me, because someone says to him, I don't know, something along the lines of, "It's okay to be a mutant," and he's like, "I'm not a mutant. My powers are magical."
Yes. That is absolutely right.
Elaborate, please.
Yeah, don't let me in with you freaks.
Yeah.
I'm a magic freak. Yes,
So-
let's clear this up. Juggernaut is not a mutant. Juggernaut,
Okay.
quick background. Kane Marco is the step-brother of Charles Xavier. He keeps talking about his brother in this one.
Yes.
He was raised by, he was a step-brother of Charles Xavier, and he's got a chip on his shoulder because as children he felt that Charles came into his family and took all the attention, all the love away from him. So that's why he's got a grudge on his shoulder. He's not a mutant. His powers come from a magical crystal called the Emrang crystal, which grants the user the powers of the Juggernaut, invulnerability, massive strength, massive size. So this episode didn't delve into why he's like this at all. It did just say, my powers are magical, kind of like planting a little seed.
Yeah.
Stay tuned, kids. We might get to the bottom of this later. And also, he famously, like Magneto, normally he wears a helmet that stops telepaths from entering his mind, which is why they have to get it off at the end to help Jean quell him.
And they have to work together in order to do that. Yeah. Using wimpy teamwork garbage.
It really was. When they were like, we're going to have to work as a team, I was like, oh, great. The X-Men are the best when they work as a team. I love seeing all their powers combine. Oh, that's bullshit.
Even though they were kind of working it as a team, it still was kind of like you have a turn and you have a turn.
Yeah, exactly. It felt very much like, the henchmen all standing around in a circle waiting for their turn to attack.
Yeah. Is it my turn to punch it?
Again, Wolverine in this, I think he tries to jump on. He does the involuntary shoulder ride move on Juggernaut twice.
Yeah. Second time actually manages to kind of, I guess, pop the rivets on his helmet is what he's doing.
Juggernaut's helmet is so ridiculous because they can make it work on screen because of animation cheating. But to actually have a helmet that is a dome with just 2 eye holes and a mouth at the front of that dome, make one out of cardboard and tell me how much you can see.
When it comes off his head, it's quite it's alarming that he has a normal shaped head.
Yes, you're kind of expecting to have a mushroom head or something.
Yeah. You kind of get the feeling that he's got kind of a I mean, there's heaps of characters that are kind of have weird body morphology.
Yeah.
Like I've got, I kind of expect him to have like a Hey Arnold head. You know?
That's his backstory. Years of people calling him football head.
Yeah.
Finally drove him over the edge.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, Juggernaut! It's recess! What do you got for lunch there, Juggernaut?
There's this other unusual thing, which I assume has something to do with I got my powers from a crystal.
Yeah. Is this when Rogue tries to...
Rogue tries to... It's like she absorbs his personality rather than
she absorbs his
powers.
rage, all his angst. I can't give you a canonical reason or a specific reason why Rogue can't do it. I mean, I'm going to go under the umbrella of their magic protection from this crystal helps him become invulnerable in many ways. But kudos for Rogue's voice actress for going 8 out of 6 on this. She goes fucking nuts. Like, if you were in the studio in the record of this, you would stop the recording immediately and go, "Are you dying?" Because she's feral.
She was great. She was loved it.
She was maybe the last American voice actress that was like, if I don't do a good job, they're gonna outsource my voice to Canada. I better earn my money today.
I got to show my range today. Yeah.
Yes. To the point.
And she did it. She got the opportunity. Do you remember when they turn up at the jail to get in? And Storm's like, "How are we going to get into the jail?" Yeah. And Rogue's like, "Just don't you worry, honey." And then like a sexy like saxophone starts underscoring it. It's like a southern charm. Yeah. And she's like, sugar. I bet it gets lonely in this jail. And
she's like, long shift. It wasn't until you turned up.
Yeah.
Ooh, touch my hand.
Yeah. Ta-da.
Yeah.
Very fun.
You know when the Juggernaut's running off with the bags of cash, Wolverine slashes the bags, the cash falls out, and Jubilee runs back with a whole bunch of cash back to the bank and says, the rest of it's out there. And the employees look happy, and as she leaves, watch this again, there's a little split frame where the employees look at each other, and their smile changes to one of definitely like, we're keeping this fucking money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you notice that?
Yeah. So good.
Yeah. Like, the city is on fire out there. We're keeping this fucking cash.
Yeah. An enormous barrel-shaped guy just smashed into if there was ever an opportunity for us to steal $200,000, it is today.
Yeah. I mean, like, if some of the animation was shoddy in the rest of the episode, it's because they spent time on this little 3-frame shot. Yeah. Because now thinking back about it, they look at each other in a way of like, not only are we keeping the cash, but also in a way of like, Susan, we can finally run away together.
Oh my god! Yes! Like, there was a lot in that. Like, those two were loaded with, like, character. Okay, so speaking of way too much attention put into minor characters, right? Yeah. Because there's those two, and there's also a weird old man in the jail whose job is to look out of the bars and observe the escape.
Yes.
He watches. He's there to he watches Juggernaut run through the wall, and the others kind of go after it, and he's kind of like, out the. And he's really
big like things are going on.
He looks like the Crypt Keeper. He's really like he's so old and grey and wrinkled, and I'm like, this guy's gonna say something. Like he never says anything, but he's very specific. And then the guards arrive, and Storm goes, "Arctic winds," which, to be honest, Arctic winds felt to kind of create an ice wall.
Yes, however, it was quite nice to see Storm use other elements other than just lightning and wind again.
Yep. It was good. But at the same time, I was like, Do you just have all the powers, Storm? Come on.
Yeah.
Are you going to discover soon that you can use lightning to read people's minds?
Yes, the synapses. I can feel the electric pulses.
Yes. But yeah, then she creates this ice wall, and it's slippery, and the guards slip over, and we see their bum. But that guy is there to observe their humiliation. Like, we see him seeing. He is the proxy us. Like,
oh wow. Also, dude, this guy is so old and still in jail. Beast, that's got to be disconcerting for Beast. He's like, I'm waiting for my day in court. Like, dude, that guy's been waiting for his day in court clearly for 40 fucking years.
Yeah.
Dude, just break out. Society already hates you. Just get the fuck out.
There's a lot of little nuggets that are fun and great, but as an episode, I felt it was swinging between those great moments, as opposed to it being like a really kind of structured...
I think this one could have been like directed so much better. I mean, I might put it down to like, the animation was a bit shoddy in places. Like the villain, give Juggernaut something better to do. Like, all we know about him is he's big, he's kind of invulnerable, and he wants cash. It's the lowest, most one-dimensional villain we've seen so far.
Yeah, and I mean, the simplicity, there's something to the simplicity of just wanting money, but I actually want to know what he wants the money for. Like, there's a real simple way to up the motivation.
Yeah, I think this one, I wanted to love it because I love Colossus. Seeing Juggernaut and Colossus should always be a big spectacle. I think the budget let this one down.
The fact that kind of everything is kind of about shaking buildings or walking through buildings or buildings collapsing, rather than kind of imaginative staging of what.
This is a city engineer's goddamn nightmare.
Yes. Yeah.
And there was a really nice touch where at the end Colossus is helping them rebuild the mansion. That's very nice. I help you build because bad thing happen and they feel bad.
Yes.
Thanks, Rusty.
They try to get him to join the team.
Yeah. I mean, like, that was really nice of Wolverine extending the professor in here, but I know he'd want you to be part of the team. Yeah.
Yeah. At that exact moment, I was kind of struck by how do Wolverine's wrists bend?
Oh, if the claws are retracted. They're retracted all the way back into the forearm. So the tip of the blade only comes to his wrist, which still gives him the mobility. So technically, he should only be able to unsheath his claws when his wrist, his fist is kind of like at a natural position. Gotcha. So they don't just retract to the point where they disappear. No, they retract all the way back into the forearms.
Okay, there we go.
There you go. But yeah, good.
There we go.
You're learning. Yes, you're asking the questions. You've taken your first step into a greater world.
Oh, God. I need to go have a lie down.
Oh, this was a fun episode, mate.
Yeah. So it's good to have a mixed bag. They can't all be winners. And it still had some good moments. To kind of hang our hats on. Still, as you say, always things left cliffhanging, and
That's right. Where's Professor Xavier gone?
Where's he gone?
What's he done?
What's he up to? What's happening in Scotland? Let's find out.
Exactly.
Next.
How the X-Men cope without him?
Probably badly. Now that naughty Daddy has gone away once again, and Professor Xavier just keeps going out for cigarettes and never coming.
Yeah, and he can walk too. He just parks his...
Yeah. He's just faking it, so they're all like, "Oh, Professor Xavier," when he comes home. Yeah,
stupid mutants, dickheads. Yeah. He's out there grumbling by the skip.
Yeah, it's just got like exhausted Ben Affleck energy. just out the back, just like fuck my life.
Yeah.
Why did I think this was a good idea?
Why did I start a school?
To find out all the answers to that, of course, you will need to tune in to episode 9 this time next week on X-Men Re-Examined. As always, If you like the show, you should subscribe to the show because it does magical algorithms somehow. So yeah, like it, leave a comment, leave a review. We'd love to hear your thoughts, and it always helps us out. If you're interested in following Harv or myself on the internet or at any of our multiple live appearances and performances, you can find out about those on the internet. There are links to the parts of the internet you'll need to access to find that information out in the show notes. Click all the buttons.
Yeah. Hey,
but
maybe your mutant power is supporting us.
Imagine if that was your mutant power to
I mean, you'd be fucking gutted. I know. I mean,
yeah,
it's not exactly shooting optic blasts, but use it while you got it.
Yeah, exactly. You know, celebrate who you are as a person and as a mutant by liking the show. 5-star review.
Worst power ever.
That's your code name. 5-star review. Thanks, Harv.
Thanks so much, bro. Catch you guys later. Bye.
Bye.
Are podcasts too interesting? Especially if you use them to fall asleep. I'm Dan Bain, and all 4 seasons of my podcast, Sleepy Time Mumbles, are interesting enough to listen to, but not interesting enough to keep you awake. Sleepy Time Mumbles, a podcast you can miss, wherever you get your podcasts.